this or no? No, okay.
Okay, let's hear the voice.
Okay.
There is. See?
Wait, put it up, put it up.
Manan, when I approached you to talk about this topic, I use the term metrosexuality.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that you had to go Google it. That's what you told me.
Yeah. Because I didn't know what metrosexual means. I thought it's a part of a sexuality in this generation that we are living in. So obviously there are so many terminologies, I feel. I identify myself as a normal man, but I didn't know what's a metrosexual man. So hence I had to Google it.
When when I asked the question though, I've met and come across men and boys who, as soon as I would mention a particular queer terminology, or probably metrosexual is not even a queer terminology,
Yeah, I don't know.
they would instantly go in the defensive. Whereas you probably went ahead and Googled it.
Yeah.
What made you do that?
I think I believe myself as a curious person. You should know about things and educate yourself. I feel, and it's like a learning process. You always know something, and if I can identify myself in a very particular manner, that would be much more better. I feel, rather than just some men, because it's difficult to identify as this is masculinity, this is femininity, and I don't know, like. Even in movies, I think we are just told us this is one thing and this is another thing, and if there's a middle ground, we don't know because that's never shown. If it's too much if the indicator is towards on the other side, it goes towards gay, and if it's in the other side, you're a man. So we don't know what's a middle ground, and then I found metrosexuality is like a middle ground, and people fail to identify that, and I googled about it, and now I can identify and I can actually look for people, or I can understand, oh, probably he's not that, he's not this, he could be this as well. So that's why.
Has anybody called you gay for being metrosexual?
Not gay, I would say, but I have come across people with different reactions to what I say or do things, I think, because they would identify as a very feminine thing if I do something. For example, the way I dance. So people who sometimes would think it's a feminine manner if I dance, but I would call it much more fluid, I think. Because I like to move my entire body, including my hips and my shoulders. And according to, I think, guys, what they think what's masculine is like you be shoulder, you just move your hands and
like a bit crisp, a bit turgid.
But I can do that as well. But it depends on the song, dance. Which language it is. It depends entirely on that. And sometimes I like to move entire body, and sometimes I like to be like assertive and take care or lead someone.
Yeah.
So I can do both of it. But if I do some other dance, they might think, they would automatically assign me to a particular category. Probably to give them a benefit of doubt, they wouldn't even know that it's a metrosexual guy, probably he's a gay, or probably he's a normal man who just enjoys this. So we don't know. No one knows that.
Yeah. It's very interesting that you use the terminology normal men. And I guess there's so much of politicization around why would we call someone as a normal man, because being straight is not necessarily normal, it's just the majority
that identifies in the society.
Exactly.
This is counted as a normal man.
Correct. And to be to put the eyes where we have to put them, you're an amazing dancer, by the way.
Okay. Thank you.
I guess that over the years, we've been in college together, we've had so many house parties together, we've been friends for at least 3 years now.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how comfortable it's been for me to probably even dance around guys as much as it has been a pleasure to dance with you. So amazing.
Thank you.
With regards to exactly how probably some people find you feminine, how do you feel about that?
It's okay. I tend to think that probably they just are not aware, or they have been brought up in such a community that they have taught, this is this and this is that. So they identify as that. So I don't try to be judgmental on them. I do find it, but I do feel, how do I say it? It makes me feel bad. Okay, they are identifying me as one, or in their head, or probably they are laughing. So for example, when I was younger, I actually used to like Taylor Swift songs. They are great songs. It's a great song, but no men I think would like say, oh, I like Taylor Swift. So I don't think any men would just go out and say that. Anyone, because if you say that, you are automatically assigned to some category. If not consciously, I think subconsciously by any person you are categorized into that identity, right? And I think guys have thought of me as you could be someone's bitch, in a girl manner way, like your girlfriends, but I don't think, why can't be a normal guy who enjoys this with a particular person? Why do I have to be assigned into a guy thing or a girl thing? If I enjoy one particular thing with that person and that person shares the same thing, why can't I simply enjoy that with that person? It doesn't categorize me into just a feminine thing, right? But I think the way all of us have been brought up, we have just to understand or make things real for us, so that we feel comfortable. We put boxes and compartmentalize things. Okay, this is this is this. So probably I think that's how guys and women, I think even women do that. Even they might think probably he's gay, why does he like that song? Because no guys would actually come up and tell something like that, right? Why would he want to hang out and do this thing? I've not seen any other guy do that. So that's all. Probably if you are more comfortable and then you do it later on, they would understand that. But in the beginning, if someone's open about it and just agrees and accepts that.
The first impression.
First impressions. So that's a very different thing. You gotta be, when first impression is very subconscious and we think of some of that person, and once you get comfortable, that's the consciously then you think, because when you think about it in a subconscious manner, you want that person to be like that, and when that person starts talking and then you realize consciously, oh, I don't want that, or I want that. So before I open my mouth, they already have a conceived notion about me, right?
A judgment.
So if I talk and then they realize, oh, no, he's not this or he's that. So that's how I think people choose as well who they want to be with or what do they think of someone.
You've mentioned a really, couple of really interesting points in your discourse right now. What hit me mainly is that you said it wasn't really about being feminine to you, it was about being yourself.
Yeah.
It didn't matter to you whether you were being feminine or masculine. You were just being authentic. You were just telling your truth and being the truth in the moment of what you felt like being.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Because at times I can confess that I have this preconceived understanding that, oh, okay, in this situation, what do I want to be? Do I want to be more assertive? Do I want to be more caring? Do I want to just shut up? Do I want to actually tell my opinion?
Yeah.
And I kind of try to eventually what's the word again used?
Compartmentalize. Compartmentalize.
Compartmentalize.
Yes.
Into, oh, do I want to be a bit feminine right now? Do I want to dress a bit more masculine right now to feel a certain way? So it's very interesting that you touch the nerve here to say that it's not really about thinking ahead, but instead just being who you want to be in that particular moment.
So sometimes if I'm comfortable, I know I can be anything. I don't have to think about what I'm portraying to them, because I know they won't judge me and they don't care. They know me as a person. Who am I? All of my identities and who am I as a complete person. But if a stranger, then I have to choose myself, okay, which part to relay right now, because they might have a wrong impression. Probably I'm not that, but if I'm being just too honest, because people are generally not that honest and comfortable in the first occurrence, right? So I have to be very careful in choosing sometimes what do I have to relay. But if I'm quite comfortable, like I'm with you, I can tell anything. I can just say I like this, I don't like this, because I enjoy this. And what's so wrong about enjoying something, right? It's all about pleasure in the end, I feel. So, and there's nothing to feel guilty about any kind of pleasure.
Yeah, entirely. Regarding this, this having to sort of prep before meeting a stranger or prep before having something new in your life, do you think that because of appearing, let's say, less macho, probably, like I don't think that you're any less macho than any other man that I've known, do you think that kind of makes it less probable for you to pick up girls? Do you think that women tend to be a bit more judgmental towards you when it comes to dating?
I would say picking up girls, rather than I would feel the things that I've learned all my life and being comfortable and communicating, listening, I'm able to woo them much more easier. That's what I feel, and being closer to them rather than just pick them up, because picking them up is a very conscious and subconscious manner of what we biologically perceive what's masculine and what's not. Because if I come across and start talking and what I like and start on, they would have a preconceived notion automatically, because they think, oh, they don't want this. But once they would actually get comfortable with me and once they know me, they would think, oh yeah, actually you want this. This is a great guy. He's actually communicating. He's doing all the other things. But once they do not know me, in a subconscious manner they already think, oh, I like this guy.
Yeah.
And then once that guy communicates or whatever he does, they must think, oh, he's not the person I wanted, but at least I can take him to the position where I want him to be. And that's why people date a lot of red flags also, I think. And the reason they date so many red flags is because they think, oh, that's just one thing, and I can change that over time. And in the end, they leave that same person for the very first thing the red flag was about.
Yeah.
And that happens all the time. But if you're able to communicate in the beginning, and if you're able to assign your subconscious thinking to yes, and consciously, yes, I want this, then if people are more honest and they're acceptable in the beginning, I think they would lead to much more better fruitful relationship. For me, so not picking up, I would think I sometimes enjoy the company, so I forget about picking them up. So that happens a lot because I don't think of them as just picking them up, because I sometimes think, oh, she's a great person, knowledgeable person, I can have fun with her and we can chill together. And for guys and girls, people don't think like chilling together, like having fun. Okay, obviously I can like someone and I do want to pick that person up. But my manner of picking some girl up would be way different than some other guys picking up. So I don't know, I wouldn't call it success or not success, but I think I'm just a curious person, so I just try to understand person much more. And I think I've learned this, people often hear people but not listen to them, and that's what I've understood with girls as well. Like they think that person is hearing them but not listening to them. And it's very important to listen to that person rather than just hear them and like, so I've learned things along the way, like, meeting girls, and like you pick up on things and you understand, and it helps me all along. After all, in the end, I'm going to end up with a girl that I really love. So might as well be, learn this, learn that, prepare yourself. Like, get the best of what you can be.
Entirely. And just not to risk sort of jumping ahead of the wagon right now. I guess, metrosexuality started in the 90s with being this physical appearance movement where men who are urban citizens, they have enough money to be able to afford luxuries such as aesthetics, taking care of themselves, skincare, anything. But you also seem to try to connect with the more being open to being emotional and having that connect and having those conversations and like looking at somebody in the eye and being like, I'm listening to you, I'm not just hearing you. And at the risk of probably like just trying to go too fast with this concept right now, do you think that your openness to being caring towards yourself, to loving yourself, to putting time and effort into your grooming has also contributed to you being more connected with yourself and hence more self-aware, and that reflection of self-awareness translates into probably being more emotionally aligned with people as well? Like how? Like why would you say that, and how does that?
Okay. So just to touch on the emotional part, like I think we've been all grown up and thought like, like women are much more emotional than men. That's what we've been all taught, I think. But it's wrong. Human beings in general are emotional people, but the way we've been brought up, it's acceptable for women to be emotional at a certain time or any time. It's okay. It's not something that aligns out of the order. So for men, and men have been taught to not show repress their emotions all the time. So if once he shows their emotions, that it means something's out of order, that doesn't align with what we have been taught, right? So that's where I think I try to pick up on, like, why does one has to be particular of showing the emotions or not? And you can be comfortable showing emotion. And this works with women as well. I think women also have this preconceived notion. Why is a guy being too emotional? Is he gay? Is he something else? Or they try to, again, assign him to a box. Right? Then why can't be a normal person be emotional? He can watch a movie and cry, just like you. He can be happy. He can be angry. Like, he can have all kinds of emotion. He can show them. And I feel showing the emotion, if you give words to your emotion, is the best way of communication, I feel. So you should communicate, and in that way, emotions, if you can use those emotions to communicate, people try to repress those emotions in men. So that's what I feel about emotions, at least. And the other thing that you were trying to understand was
whether the fact that you take care of yourself in terms of grooming, does that contribute to you taking care of your emotional self?
Yep, for sure. Like, I'm quite self-aware of what I like, what I don't like, what works for me. And I feel it's better to explore myself first than let some other stranger explore me, or like, it works for women as well. Like, I always tell to my female friends that explore yourself first and then let some stranger or some other guy explore you, right? That's the best way. Then you know what you want, what you don't want. At least you're aware. Obviously, you can explore together as well, but people are not so great at communicating. And oftentimes, there's always some misplace of communication. Then you have to be okay with something even if you're not. So I take care of myself. I know I like this, and if I take care of myself, that says a lot about me, because once I start taking care of someone else, I know I'm gonna do it, because if I can do such good for myself, and once I choose to do so for someone else, I can go beyond myself.
I so resonate with that, because you cannot love people more than before you start loving yourself first, and that's like just a very powerful truth that I don't think a lot of people understand and like know how to emulate that kind of love towards others before they can emulate that to themselves first.
Yeah.
You said something as well with regards to putting words to emotions.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So oftentimes we ourselves don't know what emotion we are feeling, and we don't try to assess it. Like, so if I'm feeling angry, so you gotta assess why you are feeling angry, right? And then you gotta choose and put a word to that, like, you know, particular, like, you did this thing and I'm angry. Because if you don't know what you're angry at, you just throw off the anger, and you don't know what's that anger for, and it leads to something else. You forget about that emotion why you were angry in the first place, and it goes to something else. But if you choose to put a word towards it, okay, I'm angry, but why? Because of certain thing. Or if I'm sad, because of this, okay, of this. So if you put a word to it, it's easy for yourself to understand, and for the other person you're communicating with, so they understand, okay, this person is angry for this thing, rather than just randomness of angriness of I don't know why I'm angry. Like sometimes you also don't know why I'm feeling like this, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm feeling down. Then you try to understand, okay, why are you feeling down? If you try to put words to it, try to understand it, you might know, okay, this is why it happens to me.
Yeah.
So next time if a person sees, or if you're with someone, if you're in a relationship, you know what's happening, you can communicate, okay, this is what happens when something, so you know what's going on with you, and then you can relay that to the other person.
Oh
so
my god, I so relate to what you just said. If I can just share, I guess it took me a long time to realize that PMSing was real for me.
Okay.
Because growing up, PMS has never really personally affected me.
Okay.
Until probably when I hit my 22s and 23s, and I realized that I was actually moodier during my PMS period as compared to other moments of the month. And just being aware of that fact solved so many, little things that could have probably gone wrong. And I think like it's so interesting that you say that just being able to be self-aware and associating a particular word to a particular emotion helps so much in healthy communication and just like being, happy in our lives.
The thing you said, PMS, it's periods, right? When you're on your period.
It's premenstrual syndrome, so like just before your period.
Just before your period, okay, alright. So you feel those emotions before you're getting your period?
Yeah, like you just are super moody.
Okay.
You get very volatile. I've learned not to take my life's decisions during my PMS before my menses, like never ever.
Okay.
So like just being aware of that, like it really sort of helped many things.
Yeah, I always found women are actually superwoman. Like every fucking month they go almost a week through this. And once, I think I was younger, I think God was being, like, for example, I will give you an example. I was given an exam, math exam. I'm terrible at math. But imagine that, the crucial exam that I'm really terrible at, 3 hours of paper and an hour and a half, and I feel like going to the poo. I need to poop, okay? So I'm like, why God, you're doing this to me right now? Why? What did I do to you? And then now later on in my life, I think so many women go through so many things in their life. And we are not even aware of that they are actually PMSing or actually on their period. While crucial things in their life, important major things in their life. And they are like, with straight face, they go ahead and do it.
Yeah, because you've got to.
Exactly.
To add, just to add a quick statistics to what you just shared, at any given point in time in the human population, 17% of women menstruate. And another 17 would hence be PMSing as well. Which means that regardless of whatsoever, 34% of women are enduring a certain kind of emotional fluctuation at any exact point in the human population. And just to add statistics to what you just shared. So
no, that's wonderful. Like I wouldn't know if you are on your PMS. I don't know, but you're doing a wonderful job doing this. So good for you. Like doing great. Regarding PMSing, I came across this product Ovirio. I don't know if many people know it.
I think you sent it to me for DM.
I sent it to you. So I came across it on Facebook or Instagram. I don't know. I thought it's pretty cool. What they do is they put like a patch under your belly, and it negates all the
cramps,
the pain that leads to the nerve endings that goes through the pain indicators that go to your brain. So it doesn't let you send it.
Pain,
So it doesn't let the pain go to the brain. So if your pain doesn't analyze that pain,
your brain doesn't analyze the pain.
And you don't feel the pain.
Yeah.
And it's such a good thing, and I didn't think many people know this. So I had like so many female friends, and I sent them to this, like, you go through this in a month 5 times a day, so might as well use this.
Entirely.
Yeah, right?
And coming to that point exactly, Manan, and I remember when we were preparing for this interview, this podcast, I actually wanted to discuss this. You are one of the very few male friends that I have, and you identify as hetero male, right?
Yeah.
Who actually sends me stuff related to women health and women issues. And if you'll allow me to share, and I know like you've given me consent to share this, you've even very bravely just went ahead and shared porn links that is made by women and for women with all of your female friends. And happily so. And that's something that my other male friends did not do, let me tell you that. But where do you find the courage or the interest to do something like that, to share content that is women related with your female friends? And let me tell you, it's not something that comes naturally to all my other boyfriends.
Okay.
So I'm curious to know where it comes from you.
Well, I think it's sort of a courage. I feel they should know about it. Like, if they're my friends, that's the main thing. I don't think of them as something else. They're my friends. So if I have a guy friend or a guy friend is there, I see something cool product or something, I'll tell him, dude, use this. It's pretty cool. So same, if I saw some product and I'm like, wow, this is actually amazing, I should recommend, like, it's meant for females, so I should recommend to my female friends. And they're pretty good, close female friends that I enjoy my time and I have fun with. So I should do that to, like, share it to them,
obviously.
right? And this, the site you told, it's, I forgot the name, it's Bellessa or something, I think the name. And the reason I shared it, because I opened it and I also felt it's a really great site. It's actually, because if you go to a normal mainstream porn site,
like Pornhub
or anything, so it's quite flashy and it's on the act of sex than the act of pleasure. Like, you know, we use sex as an act that leads to pleasure, and the goal is pleasure, right? And normal porn sites, they focus more on the act of sex and and for the guys to make them feel that they are the ones who are giving pleasure. I've seen most of the time I've understood, or at least when I've seen the videos, I've felt that, you know, this is what it's trying to interpret me and make me feel that. And when I went on that side, it was such an aesthetic site, such a warm, welcoming site. I've never seen such a warm, welcoming porn site. That normal sites are like colorful, flashy, and like, you know,
performance driven. It's almost like a sports site.
No, sports. I would say it's like very flashy. Like, you know, people would get repelled by it. Like, if you're not into it, you would get repelled by it. But that is such a warm, welcoming site. It has so many categories like storytelling, erotica novels. It has so much, and it leads towards pleasure. Like, you know, pleasure for women rather than just the act of sex. And it helps them. You know, it's educating as well, because we don't know. It's like a learning curve. It's not. Sex is like a skill, like you practice it more and you know better of it, right? So that's what that site did, and I was like, oh, this is a pretty great site, but I feel no one knows about it and no one would even talk about it. So I'm like, might as well I give a voice to it, and I will just send it to my friend.
And no, like, let me tell you, like, I'm pretty sure like everybody you shared it with, they were very happy with the link.
Hopefully.
But I think more for me personally, when you shared that link with me, I found so much power in first your active even sharing. And second, as in like, oh, here's a site not focusing on the male gaze. And here's a site that's not focusing on just the masculine part of having sex, but also the feminine part of having sex. Which was like really, really cool. Let's have...
But I had to be quite careful also. I want to tell that you can't just share it like anyone. Because you got to be careful on how other person is going to interpret it. Perceive it, my message. Because I know you're my friend, you wouldn't judge me, you would find it cool. And I would show it to you because you know me as a person. So I've sent it to people who know me as a person, like, you know, rather than some random stranger or some family member, because then they would think, okay, I wouldn't even share it on public, because then they would think of me as something else, or they would, like, I don't want them to have that image, even though it's okay to have that image, but in a long term, how we people are, how we compartmentalize things, because that makes us feel in control. I know this guy is this, or this girl is this. So that's why I have to be careful as well on doing this.
I was hoping to just probably have our first cut, but before, like I just want to like touch up on something first before we go to that. You mentioned quite a number of times actually about choosing the people that you reveal yourself to, or that you feel safe expressing yourself around. And I remember we had a couple of conversations about this as well, where I tend to kind of like share tons of things on social media. And it never occurred to me that, oh, I need this to be a safe space. But in other things, and you know this very well, as much as I seem to share a lot, there's many other things that I don't share on social media.
Yeah.
I'm actually a very private person.
Exactly, yeah.
And this emphasis on needing the safe space to be able to express yourself. Would you say that even, let me try to rephrase this one. When it comes to your metrosexuality, right, there's a certain layer to it. Like, everybody knows Manan loves grooming. Manan loves his, eyebrow threading.
Yeah.
You love beard grooming.
Yeah.
You like to have a nice haircut.
Yeah.
And all of the jizz that comes along. Everybody knows, like, you have amazing sense of style. You really take care into, like, what's the color that I'm wearing? Is the shoes going on with this? Boom, like, all the jam. As compared to, then you kind of mentioned that, okay, but then if I'm meeting a new stranger, I'm still going to be careful with what I'm putting out there, because I don't want to be an overkill in terms of probably not being the typical alpha male or the typical masculine ideal. How important is having a safe space for you?
I don't know, like, see, I think once you make safe space is once when you start communicating, and then you start making that safe space, right? To have that safe space in the first place. I just can't choose a safe space. Once I start communicating, relaying, this is the kind of person I am. So I do go across, and sometimes I feel I tend to go, for some people it might be overboard, or for some people it might be like overkill, as you said, like, but if I start communicating, then no, this is the kind of person he is, he's a great, or whatever kind of person he is, and then I made a safe space automatically. Once I started communicating with them, even if I'm a stranger, if I was just speak normally or anything, once I relay some kind of message, then they know, okay, this is the kind of person he is, or he speaks in that manner, and automatically becomes a safe space. But it is quite important for a safe space, I feel, because people tend to judge, misunderstand, yes. It's not their fault. That's why I always give benefit of doubt to people, because that's how they've been grown up. So it's not their entirely fault. But yes, people can change, and people should aspire to change or be curious to understand new things, learn, rather than just put a label to it, rather than labeling. Yes. So
cool, awesome. Well, thank you so much for this first cut, and I'm just worried that Lena was just standing there all the time with her legs and not.
And I don't know how people are going to interpret this, hopefully in a positive manner, hopefully. So, yeah.
No, entirely, I so agree and concur with you. Like, we've had these discussions over wine, we've had these discussions walking on the shoreline, we've had these conversations in the middle of house parties, we've had these conversations, I don't know, during like a heartbreak and like trying to like patch up whatever. So yeah, I think it's pretty interesting and good. Did the door just knock right now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
You're into skincare.
Yep.
Why and how and what do you do? What's your skincare routine? Tell me what.
It's not that much, it's quite simple.
Okay.
But the reason it started is because I have a very dry skin. That's what I realized when I was younger, like way younger, like in 5th grade, 3rd grade I think. Very dry skin, like, the skin like used to peel off, that kind of dry skin.
Okay.
So that's what I understand, I need to use lotion.
Yeah.
Like a dry for the dry skin, okay?
You use lotion. Yeah. I know, like you use lotion a lot.
Moisturizer, sorry, lotion, moisturizer, yeah.
You know, but like you use it a lot, and like that's something that I learned from you, to be honest, just to share. But because when you said that, I just remembered our time in Dubai, when you were always like, oh my god, lotion. Oh, I forgot to apply lotion today.
Yeah, because it's a very key thing. After I take a bath, my skin is absolutely dry, and the reason my hands are also very dry and rocky, and so I remember this one instance. I think I was younger in 6th grade, 7th, 8th grade. I think 6th to 10th grade. I think
around that period. How old is that?
From 11 to 16, 11 to 15, or 12 to 15. Teenagers, yes. So I used to date girls, and we used to go out and walk, and we used to hold hands all the time. While holding hands, I remember they used to tell me, "Wow, Manan, your hands are not wow. Actually, they're like it feels like rock. I'm holding a rock." And I used to feel a bit insecure. Why are they feeling like that? Like my hands should be soft. So I was like, should I apply moisturizer? But then when I used to like shake hands with some men or any guy, they were like, wow man, your hands are so manly, firm. And I used to be in such a dilemma. Like, women are saying it feels rocky and it's not that, and men think that it's macho and it's like, So I didn't know what to think about it. In the end, I stopped caring. But yeah, many people told me like, my hands are super rough. And from that point of time, I started applying moisturizer, lotion. And as I grew up, and I'm a very hairy person, so I have a lot of beard and like eyebrows. They are unibrow actually, so I try to make them in a good shape and in a symmetrical way. So I try to do a lot of grooming and like then skincare. And that's point of I thought like there is no like products for men. Like I see men just put face wash and they walk out of the house and that's it. And it's simple. I like it actually. And women actually have so much like BB cream, concealer, this, that, foundation.
Do you enjoy those?
Yeah, like why not? Like you guys are trying to hide your imperfections so that you could look the best. And we have the same face, like we are human beings, we have the similar face, we also have pores, we have pimples, we have so many outbreaks, it's simple. But we are not like told to like hide them. It's okay, men, you're supposed to have it. But I want to look perfect sometimes, I want to look great. And it's not too much, but then I realized there's one product they make for men, especially for men.
Do you know the brand or?
Tony and Monroe, I think that's the name.
I think I've heard, yeah.
So it's like hydrating eye gel they put under the eyes, and then there's a BB cream, and there's a concealer for men. It's like you can just tap it.
Yeah.
So it's like under here, under the eyes, because obviously everyone has grouchy eyes. Sometimes we work late or we
eye
have
bags.
Eye bags, exactly. And sometimes like under the just to clean it, like So I use some of these products, and there's a nighttime routine because we sleep on the same pillow. Exactly, and we go out the entire day, so many dust accumulates on our face, and we sleep on the same pillow. And how many times do we wash that pillow? Once a week or twice a week, that's the max, but still. So I try to put a night cream that I put on so that it's good. That is also men cream. It's not like I'm using female products at all. I'm literally using men. L'Oreal Men, I think it's called. It's for men, made for men to look. It's for like wrinkles and elephant, and why not? It makes my skin look better, and I like it.
Yeah.
And why not use it, right? If it's made for men, there are products out there.
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah. People who wear it, I think, in movies and TV series all the time. So that's why we think, oh, they are looking so great. But actually, they are wearing so much makeup all the time.
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Like if you watch any behind the scenes of even like a normal scene, male actors do natural makeup.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly alright.
Yeah. All the time they use, I think, lipsticks so that the pink lips. How do guys have pink lips, right? They don't, but like they apply something so that it looks pink and looks appealing. And we can use like normal BB chapsticks so it looks, because I told us I have a dry skin, so, and we live in a weather like it's sometimes super dry, it's super
Sydney.
cold. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Entirely. There's actually, to bounce off what you just shared, a very interesting other piece of statistics, if I can allow myself to share. Just because I researched this before.
Alright.
Why we think that women cosmetics is obviously a huge industry. It's a $400+ billion industry in terms of valuation. Male cosmetics is something that's increasingly growing and probably at an even faster rate than women cosmetics today, just because of the headroom for growth. Obviously, you tell me better because I learned these things from you about how South Korea has such an amazing approach towards gender sensitive or gender neutral makeup. But before we get to that, when I first met you in Dubai, I think the first thing that I kind of like identified you with before we even became friends was that, oh yeah, that guy that everybody says he wore makeup at his brother's wedding.
People did that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't know?
I didn't know at all.
I don't think they meant it in a bad way, but it's definitely, as somebody who comes from a very, like, I guess all of us at the same time, like a very heteronormative, masculine or male people don't wear makeup. I kind of like that's an interesting piece of information to retain about this guy, And in a lot of ways, it did make me more curious about you and towards you. Why the choice of wearing makeup at your brother's wedding?
I mean, so it was my brother's wedding, so it's our wedding. So, and I thought so many guys like makeup artists, and they were coming over to dress my mom, my sister-in-law, like to do the hair, like makeup. And like if you're getting so many guys here to do for the females, and for us guys it was just like face wash and whatever, each to their own knew whatever they knew for the hair or anything. And I feel, why not, like if they're coming here, why not like utilize them and like not like in a minimalistic way. It's not like super hyper way. So I'm like, I have a lot of hair, I like to keep a lot of volume in my hair because you can then style it. So and I did my eyebrows as well, so I told him like, give me like a good shade because I have a good beard, that's what I feel. So like give a clean cut, like a bit of like BB cream, not too much of makeup, but like, so that I look perfect. It's one day, everyone wants to look perfect on that day, so might as well look the best of myself, right? Any other day I can just use the face wash and walk out. So just one that single day I was like thinking, why not? What's the harm? People gonna talk about it for a moment. I'm gonna have photos and memories for lifetime, so it's okay. I'm gonna remember it as a memory.
They were very pretty pictures.
Thank you.
Yeah. What went in your mind though? Like, what did people around you say that day?
They're like, why do you need to do this? Like, is this necessary? I'm like, what's the harm? It's a bit, I am looking great. But once it started coming together, the picture, like the hair and like, and then I started wearing, like, oh Manan, you actually look great. I'm like, yes, see, I do. Thank you. And that's when they realized, like, it was just the notion, preconceived notion, like, why we have to do this. It's not necessary, but until I did it, even when I went to the wedding, obviously there were so many other people, like thousands of people. They saw this guy's for sure wearing makeup. And even the waiters, like everyone was thinking, why is this guy? Is he some model or what is he? Like, he's some from TV industry. Why does he have to do makeup? Not hope. I think they have notion like if you're for some industry, like then you are okay to have makeup on. Like if you're a normal person, you're not supposed to have a makeup or at least some kind of like
So makeup for the male is only for the fashion
industry, celebrities or like then it's okay, it's justified. He can do it, he should do it because he is that particular category. But for me as a normal person, they think not, but in the end everyone was okay. They didn't care a lot in the end, and I didn't care a lot. That's the main thing. The first thing was I really do not care. Like what's gonna happen? They're gonna speak about it until some other thing is gonna come up. In a week, no one's gonna remember it. And the wedding, when I look back, I'm like, I'm looking perfect. I'm looking great.
Exactly.
And everyone's looking great, along with my sister-in-law, with my mom, dad, and everyone's looking great.
Amazing.
And it happens once in a lifetime, right? So I'm like, okay, let's do it. It's not that I'm doing it every single day.
What about your other cousin brothers? Did they join you?
No, I don't think so. None of them did it. But after that, I think I kind of broke the cycle. Next time they were like, even I should do a bit of like hair and like bit of like BB cream or something just so that my eye bags don't show. Yeah, sure, go ahead. No, like if you have like a outbreak or something, you can hide that.
Why not?
People do that. I think people just don't talk about it. I think some guys also do it, but they never talk about it openly. They just do it in a private manner. I don't care about if I talk about it openly. Like it's a normal thing. It happens to you. It happens to me. Happens to everyone, so big deal. Instead, if I can share something, have this better product, you can use this. Useful, do it. Yeah, simple.
To get back, hence to our Korean, industry point.
Yeah.
You have very interesting knowledge when it comes to like the Korean beauty industry. I mean, I remember once you shared how like they get surgery for double eyelids.
So that's what I think one of our assignments was it to choose a particular industry and how would you like change it or what we can put a new product to it. And I was researching what's the most common thing in Korean industry they do, and I realized they do blastoplasty, or it's called, I think. It's a double eyelid surgery. So they have a single eyelid, and all of us are South Asian and Western cultures are born with mainly double eyelids, and they are just born with single eyelids.
Yeah.
And they find it much more appealing if they have double eyelids, and it's the most common surgery, more than plastic surgery. That's like mothers and parents, they give their sons and daughter a gift, this surgery.
Yeah.
It's like a dentist. You go for a couple of hours, they do the double eyelid, and that's it. And they think it looks much more pretty and appealing, and that's what they do in Korean, I think in Chinese or Japanese people.
Japanese, yeah.
But mostly Korean because that's where all the products are actually, most makeup products are made from there.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main biggest industry for makeup industry.
Oh no, for sure.
I still need to try and it's like trial and error. You never know which product works for you best, so you never know.
Entirely. And just like so like I'm not sure like if you're aware, but I didn't know Chanel has a male beauty product brand. It's called Boy de Chanel.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like I learned about it yesterday actually while I was researching for this. And like even Hermes, like there's so many other luxury Shiseido in Japan.
Okay.
They actually have started like creating entire lines just for men, and I'm like, so good.
I'm great. I'm really happy it's become such a commonality now that it's okay that there are products you can use it. But still, I don't know if it's happening like with the word of mouth. Like guys, if I'm with my friends of guys, I would recommend you can use this. You can use that. I always try to help them like in a private manner. But if I'm among in a public space, I wouldn't do that because sometimes they would feel it's degrading or they would feel why should I like listen. But if I'm in a personal manner, I share it to them because I know he's a good friend. He might listen or he might like it.
Do you have close personal male friends who you usually recommend, beauty products to?
Yeah, I recommend them grooming products as well because they don't know, no one educates them. Like if you're born, like in a typical, I come from an Indian society, in a Gujarati society, and it's not like easy for like parents to communicate like even sexual stuff, grooming stuff. You're just supposed to know how you're supposed to know. We don't know. So we just learn on internet, on YouTube, on however. So that's how I learn. So I have so many of my friends. They see, oh man, how do you keep your beard? So I tell them use this product, use this, and you might look like you will look great as well. Like it's simple. If they ask me why do you do this or if something, I have so many sexual questions as well. I was younger. I have this one occurrence actually.
Okay.
8th grade, 14-year-old old. So one of my friends, like we are such cool friends, and they knew I'm an open person. I can talk about anything. So they just told me like, how do you masturbate? That guy asked me like.
How old were you?
14. 14 or 13, I think. And I used to do it for like already like couple of years or before that. And he was just having his nightfall or something. So he didn't understand what happening. And I was trying to tell him, okay, this is what happens. You need to do this. Like, if you want, I can even show it to you. Now I think of it as such a stupid thing to say. But he still remembers that I was...
You were eager to share?
Not eager to share, like I was okay enough to even tell him that, that I can show it to you if you want to see how it works. I can show like on it, because back then there was no YouTube or anything, right? At that point.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can show it to you in person. He started laughing in shock, but I was like, yeah, this is what happens. Until now, he's really good friend of mine and we still joke about it and he's really glad that, we still have this conversation. Damn, like, we spoke about this and it's good.
Yeah.
And we have really good friendship now. He is in States now, but he's really happy and we always make a joke about it. Damn, like you even told me this.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you did.
And
so it was really good memory actually. So that's why I try to help. Like if he's good, my close friends, doesn't matter a guy or a girl, I will help them. Like why not share? Like they're friends. There's no like gender thing for me, I think.
I can attest for that definitely. And I kind of really enjoy the keywords that you're sort of mentioning, through your discourse time and again. Which are things like sharing, open, curious, useful, help. And these are very interesting keywords because, honestly, we learn of these keywords like as values and virtues to inculcate in ourselves since we're in preschool. But how many of us are actually identifying with those particular adjectives and those words? Like, you'll wonder, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. People don't do that often. Because they're trying to protect themselves as well so that they don't get judged.
Yeah.
And I get that. But there's no harm. People are going to judge you nonetheless. So might as well be open and be yourself.
Yeah.
Help people around you. And you'll find the same love back to you. So you should do that.
There's like this question now. And it can get a little uncomfortable probably. I'm not sure like how you prepared for it.
I don't know. Not prepared.
Have you been or have you felt bullied for being metrosexual, for having an inclination towards feminine traits and aspects of life?
I wouldn't say bully. That's a strong word. I don't think men go out of their way to bully or something. They would make fun of it sometimes. They would laugh at it. They're like, why? Like, it's... But in the end, I realized they have started to appreciate it. Like it's in my personality that I'm quite an open person, so I tend to choose and like what I like, so I'm okay with it. So I can do masculine things, like I can go out and play like a PlayStation with my guy friends and like have a good or like Call of Duty session with them, or else I can go out and have a paintball thing with my guys, but I can come home and sit with my female friend and we can listen to some new Taylor Swift song that has come out and we can enjoy to that as well. So I can do anything, whatever I like actually, if I enjoy something, I do that. So I don't think I've been bullied, but people around me have started to accept me, who am I as a person. But I think I have like from the body language, or sometimes I've understood like they chuckle or they laugh or they think why, like but in the end they get comfortable. I think I try to make any situation comfortable. I don't think anything can get awkward. It's because you make it awkward. Nothing can be awkward, I feel. It's on you to make it awkward or not.
That's such a powerful line.
Thank you.
Oh my God,
so that's what I feel. So right now, also you thought this was an awkward question, but I don't think of it as an awkward question because it's such a normal question. Anyone can feel bully about anything in their life. But yeah, that's about it. I think so.
Yeah, no. Something will be awkward if you make it awkward.
Yeah.
Something is not inherently awkward.
Exactly.
That's really, really good. And it probably also speaks of something will be what you want it to be if you associate negative value to it.
Yeah.
And hence, like, if you're not appreciating something that can be appreciated, and it's on you, it's not on the world, or like...
Yeah.
Nice, interesting.
Trying to give the benefit of doubt. That's what I always feel. It's not his fault. It was the way of the upbringing or the way he has been conceived this notion all along. Like, he has been molded into something. But we are people who learn and grow every single day. So every day there's something new to learn.
Very much so. You also are a huge sports enthusiast.
Yep.
And you know the vocabulary much better than me, so I'll let you sort of share that. But how do you, hence, put a face of, I'm getting my skincare done, I'm wearing my sunscreen, and I'm going to the stadium, and I'm going to click pictures, and I'm going to still cheer, and like talk about these topics that can be seen as masculine, but also behave in a way that is also like, cool, like I'm being myself, and I'm not going to, associate this with being like of a particular gender spectrum whatsoever. Tell me, like, because I've had like this thing of, either I've had like guy friends who are amazingly into sports and then they don't even try and enter the feminine world.
Okay.
And then I've got other guy friends who are just like, no, we're not into sports at all, we're more into, like the indoors. But even then they would never enter the feminine world. When it comes to you, tell me your story when it comes to your relationship to sports and being who you are.
Okay. Coming to the feminine world, I really don't get why you guys are afraid. Like, I think you should be very curious, learn about it. Because in the end, if you really like want to spend time with a female or like, love that person or like, enjoy the time, learn, be curious so that you make her comfortable, you make yourself comfortable, more the knowledge you have, she feels appreciated that, oh, this guy is actually taking the time to actually learn or something that, I go through in a personal manner. So that's why I feel, I don't know why guys go through that.
If I can just add something over here, Manan. I call you Manu. I don't want to call you Manan, so I'm just like struggling to say Manan each time. I feel that, and that's probably why like I see so much value to learn from you and like share your story with so many people. Guys actually do enter the feminine world, but they only do it with their romantic partner. They don't necessarily always do it with a platonic friend. True. They don't always do it probably with their own moms or probably their sisters or any other female figure in their life. And that's probably something that, and if I can talk about this as well, I guess the nature of relationship that you also weave with many other female figures in your life, people tend to confuse those relationships. Yep. I remember like I post so many pictures with you. Like my mom was like, is this your boyfriend? Like, but we are not romantically involved whatsoever. Yeah. We're very platonic friends. Yeah. Do you think hence that there's this misguided notion that, oh, if a guy has to be invested in a female partner, it would only be the romantic partner and not a platonic partner? Do you think that's what's happening?
Yeah. I think in the world we live in, guys do not have many female friends. That's what I feel. The only female friend would be the one you're dating, I think. That's what I've seen it happening, or it suddenly becomes just the two of that person. And I've never seen guys going out of the way of hanging out. But I think that's how biologically we've all been brought up. Like, we are supposed to mate with that person and be together and has to be this one female. But now I think we are living in times like you can enjoy both the genders, like all the genders actually, not just both, all kinds of genders. You can enjoy whatever you like, not just associate to that gender. That's what I just feel that's wrong, that we associate to a gender about a thing. Like, things could be anything. I like so many things. And if one particular gender dominates that thing, that doesn't matter, I align in that gender, right? I can also like that thing.
Yeah, entirely.
Exactly. So, I think that's what happens. I try to be okay with it. But it can be interpreted as wrong in the society that we live in. Even my mom thinks that, are you dating this person or you're not dating this person? What's the matter? Why are you hanging out so much with? Like, I can hang out with a particular person if I enjoy their company. Obviously, if I want to date them, I would relay that information to them. I would communicate. If I really want to date that person, I love that person.
Yeah.
I would do that. So I think it is difficult in the society to acceptable. I think moreover, I don't know if it's in the Indian society or if in a particular society. Who knows? Like,
I wonder at times as well. Like, I don't necessarily have perspective into different other societies, but that's generally the trend I've seen. But also, if I can share, like, I come from a Mauritian society, right? And to be very honest with you, when I met most of my Indian friends, I was taken aback
okay.
as to
Why?
how, because you're very comfortable talking to the opposite sex. It's not something that the average Mauritian is brought up
Okay.
thinking is okay.
Mm-hmm.
You only talk to the opposite sex in primary school, and then you get separated in secondary school,
Okay.
and then in university, then you're awkward already by then. You know, and I was actually like, and at times we always sort of think about India as like, oh, super conservative society, and I felt like, oh my god, like the Mauritian society is probably far more conservative than the Indian society, at least urban Indian society, if I can allow myself to say that.
I think we are conservative. It's not that, like, the community I was brought up in, I didn't speak to girls. Like, even speaking to girls, it was like, like teasing, or like, why is he talking to a girl, in my school at least, like,
Okay.
until 10th grade.
Okay.
I never used to care, because it's great I'm talking to a girl. Look at me, I don't care. Like, you might be like envy, or you might jealous, like, because I'm talking to a girl. But in our society, it's very difficult, also conservative. But it depends on a particular person. I think the people you have interacted with
Yeah.
are much more okay with the society, and also they're not back at home. I think they would behave in a certain manner back at home in their
Okay,
community,
gotcha.
and now they are outside of their house.
We're
and
in an international community. So
international community, so they are free. They have the freedom
behave a certain way.
to an open manner, that no one's gonna judge them, or no
Yeah.
one's gonna have an outlook on them. That's why I have this another theory. That's what I think, that we might be independent, but we don't have the freedom back at home.
Oh my god, this is such a
Right?
big topic. This is so good. Yeah,
So
go on.
right here, I
Yeah.
feel we have the freedom.
Yeah.
We are independent
Yeah.
and freedom, but back at home we are just independent because we think we are independent.
Yes.
We don't have the freedom to do it.
Oh my god, like you couldn't have put it in better words, and I just wanted to relate it back to how, perhaps there's this whole notion that, yeah, we're okay talking with girls, even as guys, or probably even girls feel that they're okay talking with guys, but then, like, you don't necessarily have the freedom to do it, but you
Yeah.
do feel independent to do it. And if I can use a small analogy,
Yeah, sure.
I remember before I had to leave Mauritius to study abroad, I kind of had a little bit of a complaint with the immediate environment I was brought up in, because they made me become a very empowered, independent young lady, and I always felt like the sky was my canvas and I don't need any limit. I'm not restricted in any way, until you start growing up, you develop curves, and apparently when you develop curves in society, there are certain restrictions that start to be put on you. I remember telling someone in specific, an elder person, that you taught me how to drive a car, but I don't have fuel in the car.
Oh, that's actually pretty meaningful, deep
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
That's exactly like the nuance between independence and freedom.
Yeah.
And probably the lack of understanding that very simple notion is how we eventually dictate our dynamics when it comes to the opposite sexes.
Yeah.
Or probably just all the sexes to start with. Like,
True.
why are we uncomfortable with transgenders? Why are we uncomfortable
Yeah.
with non-binaries? Why are we
Yeah.
So I think that's like very, very interesting in terms of, perhaps we are all independent. We think we are independent, but unless we have the freedom to think can we do it? Am I curious enough? Am I open enough?
Yeah.
We're actually not practicing our independence.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
And we live in a society, at least here in Australia, I think you can be free. You can do anything.
Yeah.
You can speak for anything, and you should. I feel, if you have the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
This, the first question you